Being a natural, nurturing being is something that brings me joy as a woman.
I am proud to be a woman because every day I break barriers, no matter how big or how small that may be.
I'm proud to be a woman because I feel like women bring a really subtle strength to the table.
Women are smart and women are strong. Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
Preview.
Real name is Isabella Brumfield, but y'all know me as Sojourner Truth. I was born the year of our Lord, 1797. Now, I don't remember much about my younger years. I remember I was about 2 years old. A man named George Washington died. Ooh, you should have seen the way the white folk carry on. You would have thought Jesus Christ was crucified all over again. Didn't cause much stir in the black community, though. We ain't never had much respect for him nohow. I remember he and his buddy Thomas Jefferson used to be slaveholders, always talk about freedom while holding my peoples in bondage. I ain't never had no use for no hypocrites. Either you is or you ain't. Ain't no two ways about it. Yeah. First master was a Master Hardbird. We all live on his plantation. Now, my daddy was one of his first slaves. His name was Brumfield. That there Dutch for old oak tree. But his real name was Joseph. Yeah. At the time of my birth, Master Hardbird had worked my daddy pretty hard. Shoot, he almost worked him to death when he was young, and he got the scars to prove it. Now, my mama name, Betty. We all call her Mama Bet. That there stand for mama. Now, my mama was given to my daddy for marriage, even though he was an old man, but that was okay, because they really loved each other. Yeah. I recalls, I had a brother named Peter. Mama told me I had two older siblings. Brother named Michael, sister named Nancy. Never got to see them, though. Master Hardbird had sold them all before I was born. My mama always told me about how they were sold off. After my mama told me that dead story, I had no more love for Master Hardbird. So I wished real hard for something real bad to happen to him. And damn it, that old fool didn't up and die. The aftermath of that meant Hardbird decided she just couldn't continue on with the plantation. So she decided to sell off most of her assets. Slaves. First time in my life I've ever been sold as a piece of property. But not my last. Really felt bad standing there on that platform. All them people pawing all over me. Want to scream, cry out. But my pride wouldn't let me. So I just stood there. Some of them check your teeth, your weight, your bone structure. Some of them fill you out real extra good, if you know what I mean. And my brother was sold off at that time. That's the last time I ever seen my brother. These ways I still have my dad. And my second bastard was an old bastard. Master named Neely. Now the Neelys was English. And that there is the language that they spoke. Up until that time, all I ever understood was Dutch and my African dialect. Now, because I didn't speak English, that there was the beginning of my problems, and the master handed me over to the missus. I can't begin to tell you of the cruel, deprived things she did to me. In my opinion, no crueler person ever existed than that of Miss Neely. A woman who seemed to find joy in the suffering of others. I was in the kitchen helping her prepare for a banquet. Now, Miss Neely was known for her cooking, and all the slaves would handle all the particulars, and I had to work alongside of her. Now, I couldn't have been no more than 9 or 10 years old. Plus, it's the first time I was ever away from my mama, so you can imagine I was more than a little scared. Anyways, she asked me for a frying pan. She asked for it in English. And I only spoke Dutch. So I didn't understand her. So I brought her what I thought she wanted. A pothole. Miss Neely flew into a rage. She mistook my innocent misunderstanding for insolence. She proceeded to beat me unmercifully. And when I put my hand up to protect myself, she mistook it for further defiance. Then she... Then she forced my hand into a boiling pot till I fainted from the pain. And ain't been right since. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me think of some happy times. Let's see. Let me think. I know. There. My third master was a Mr. Martin Schreiber of Kingston, New York. Now, Matt Schreiber was a tavern owner. Well, before that, he was a sailor. Well, to tell you the truth, he wasn't nothing but an old pirate. He said that he was still looked upon as poor white trash till he bought me. He said I gave him respectability. I gave him respectability. Well, I asked him, if I give you respectability, what you gonna give me? Told me he was gonna give me a darn good whooping if I wasn't careful. Well, I ain't never gave him no reason to whoop me. I ain't never forgot what he said either. Now, Max Schreiber used to send me down to the dock to sell sandwiches and takers and eggs. One day, I was down at the docks, and I saw a ship. A ship had docked. Now, I had seen many a ship, but this one was different. This was a slave ship. A ship of human misery. It had sailed in from Africa. Now, my daddy had told me about many ships that come from Africa, and I had seen many Africans come from there. This ship is different. Sailors called it Middle Passage. The Africans called it. Came off the ship one by one. They had chains on their wrists and on their ankles, and they could barely move. If that wasn't bad enough, some old peckerwood was beaten on. They were starving. They had all gave up Except this one man. He was a big, strong African man. Even though he was chained, he fought them every step of the way. They had broken. And as he was fighting them, one of them bullies pulled out a gun and they'll be singing. They shot him dead. Then they just kicked his body in the water like he wasn't nothing but a piece of meat. And everything went right back to normal. Just like it never even happened. And go home to my Lord. But I knew it. And be free. After seeing that, seemed like me and Master Shriver just couldn't get along no more. I used to put things in his food and signs on his belongings. Now I wasn't into no voodoo or nothing. But I wanted him to think I was. There. My new master, or shall I say, my last master, was a Mr. John Dumont. Now, Dumonts were just evil and inhuman as it is, but they more sly about their evils. Him and his missus was a piece of work. Master Dumont immediately put me to work in the fields. He claimed that since I looked like a man, I was big as one, may as well work me as one. Well, he worked me from sun up to sundown. That's a lie. He worked me long before the sun came up and long after the sun went down. But that was all right, because I ain't like being around him and his missus no how. I can't begin to tell you the cool, deprived things that she did to me. Then I met Bob. There is a bar in It was on Sunday, I recall. See? There is a bar in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. He said that I was the only one who was woman enough for him. Ain't that something? Then one night, I had heard Bob had escaped. See, I knows he was planning on running to Canada, and I knows that Master Dumont and the Catlins was going to come after him. See, they know Bob was too smart to show himself in the daylight, so they waited for him by my cabin at night. Just like the fools they were. And damn it, that old fool didn't show up. I tried to warn him, but he couldn't hear me. Bob, Bob, get away! They waiting for you, but it was too late. The trap had already been sprung. He tried to run, but they caught him, and they began to beat on him. They didn't see Bob as a man, just some kind of animal. When they first started beating on him, I thought they were going to kill him, so I ran to his aid. Now, God take me for a fool, but I believe we could have took them both. But before I could reach him, Master Dumont overtook me. I didn't see Bob for months after that. Finally, when I did see him, he wasn't the same Captain Bob. Fire had gone out his eyes. He didn't stand that straight. He was more bent over. And even though he was a young man, he looked years older. I guess you could say they finally broke him. Later, found out I was carrying Bob's baby. Oh, Master Dumont had had enough of that. He was tired of me and the Catlins, so he married me off to one of his older slaves on his plantation. His name was Thomas. Now, he had been Master Dumont's strongest buck. Me and him had 5 children. I named Diane, Elizabeth, Peter, Sophia. I had a 5th child. He was born sickly and died soon afterwards. How dare he tell me who to love? How dare he pick my mate? Ain't I a woman? My own woman? Still, it wasn't my husband's fault. In 1827, New York State freed all their slaves. So according to their law, I was a free woman. My children was free, and I demanded my freedom. I'm free, damn it, I'm free. But the master refused. But I fixed him, though. Fixed his ass good. He took the profits of my labor and had a quarter horse. And he had won a lot of money off of that quarter horse, too. Well, I stole that horse and stole myself as well. Now, my first thought was to poison him and his whole doggone family. But I remember now, the 2 evils don't make no right. So, I just wrapped my baby Sophia up and off we rode. Plus, I cut that horse's throat so Master Dumont could see how it feels to lose something valuable, something important, something you love. And take all my family with me. I took my baby Sophia. I stopped running when I reached New York City. Yeah. During this time, I got some of the worst news in my life. My son Peter had been stolen, taken down to Alabama by a man named Henry Fowler. Now, Fowler owned a plantation in Alabama, and from time to time, he had to come up to New York handling his business. When he did, I began to follow him. I got to know that man more better than his own mama. But always from a distance. See, Fowler didn't know I was following him. So I used to see him with my son. And sometimes I would run up there and just beat the crap out of that old beast. But I knows that would never get me nowhere. So I just take him to court. So I came up with a ruse. I had a friend of mine send him an official looking letter. And in the letter, it said that the state owed him money and that he had to come to court to reclaim his refund. And dang it, that old fool didn't fall for it. He come marching up in court and with my son. When he come in there, I was ready for him. He come talk about, my name is Henry Fowler, and I'm here to collect my money. I told the judge that was him, and that he had stole my child. He said, what you talking about, you old hag? What child? I said, my son Peter, standing right over there next to him. He said, Your Honor, this here boy come from my brother Solomon Getney. I said, no, it don't, Your Honor, and I can prove that he my son. He said, how? I said, well, if you bought him like you claim, I'm sure you got a bill of sales to prove it. And if so, would you please be so kind, show it to the judge. I looked at the judge and I say, Your Honor, now, I ain't no math whiz or nothing, but the date on that dear bill says 1830. Now, ain't that 3 years after New York State freed all their slaves? Therefore, Henry Fowler, you did steal my child, and damn it, I want some back. Well, he had the nerve to slap me down in court. Oh, why did he have to go and do that? Yeah, he knocks me down, but I got right back up. And then I knocks him down. And I commenced to whooping his ass. And I beat him. And I beat him. I took all my frustration, all my pain. I beat him for my mammy. I beat him for my pappy. I beat him for Captain Bob. I beat him for all my children. And I beat him again for taking my son in the first damn place. Y'all hold on. That's good. Y'all, I beat that man so bad, Judge had to call for a recess. I thought when he got back, he gonna lock my behind up for sure. But instead, he had ordered Fowler arrested and gave me back my son. Ain't that something? I tell y'all, for a while there, everything was going all right. I had sent for all the rest of my children. And things was going pretty good. But you know, trouble don't last.
I heard
those
the
happens
voice
always.
of Jesus say,
My son Peter kept getting in trouble. I guess all them years living with Fowler had affected his mind. Finally, the sheriff said that we should leave. So I decided to move to New York City. Problem was I couldn't take all my family with me. So I made one of the most difficult decisions I ever made in my life.
Come unto me and rest.
I decided to leave my baby Sophia behind. Only take Peter with me. In spite of my good efforts, Peter kept getting in trouble. Finally, got arrested. Hey. Locked him in a place called Zuhairah. This is a place where they lock all the evil, all the men who did everything wrong. But when I first went to go see my child, they said that I couldn't see it. They said that it was a men's prison and that women folk weren't allowed because it might arouse the prisoners. Ain't that something? All these years, I've been told that I look like a man. All of a sudden, they tell me that I'm beautiful and I might arouse the prisoners. Then they say, you ain't nothing but a nigger anyway, so we don't have to admit you. Of course, you know I seen through their lies. So I went to the court and got me a court order to see my child. When I entered that hellhole, my heart broke. I saw conditions that would tear any decent human being. I saw prisoners forced to lie on their own wastes, infested with flies and maggots. And I saw prisoners forced to eat roaches and rats, and everywhere the stench. And then I look in the guards' eyes, or shall I say, those sadistic beasts, and I saw the look that said, I'm better than you. The look that says, leastways, I ain't no nigger. And I was more determined to set my child free. And I did too. Now, I got my child assigned to a whaling ship. Now, I know I was losing my son Peter, but I know he will be all right. But during my visit, I had seen many Peters. And I wondered, what could these poor boys have done to warrant such punishment? And I realized they wasn't the problem. Slavery was. Slavery, that evil, cruel institute that robbed people of their humanity. Slavery that assigned some to be humans and others to be beasts. I saw then, clear as day, what my mission was to sojourn, to become a sojourner of truth, to go anywhere, even to the gates of hell, to the belly of the beast, and confront this evil, and step it out, or die trying by God. y'all see this here mail? Sally Dumont gave me this mail. Said she wanted me to see how ugly I was. Funny. I don't see that. All I see is the hurt, pain, and the tears. Well, after losing my son, I moved to Boston, where I met the acquaintance of Mr. William Lord Garrison. Yeah, Mr. Garrison was a preacher man, and he was totally against slavery. He said that he liked my writings, and he hired me as a publisher. He said he liked everything I wrote. Oh, yeah, before I forget, I got to tell y'all this. In 1850, I wrote a book. That's right, me. Can you believe it? And the white folk published it too. It is, I calls it the narrative of Sojourner Truth, Northern Slavery. Ain't that something? Now, during this time, I was going around giving a lot of speeches. And I remember one time I was giving my real famous speech. This how it went. Well, children, what's all this fucking about? I thinks between the Negro of the South and the women up north all talking about rights. White man gonna be in a fix pretty soon. That man over there talk about women need to be helped into carriages and over mud puddles and taken to the best place everywhere. Well, ain't nobody help me into a carriage over mud puddles or take me to the best place everywhere. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arms. I have plowed and planted and can head more than any man. And ain't I a woman? I can bear the lash and eat as much when I can get it. Ain't I a woman? I have borne 5 children and seen them all sold off into slavery. And when I cried, a mother's cry, none heard me but Jesus. And ain't I a woman? And they talk about this here thing. What they talk about this thing they call it? What they call it? Intellect. What that got to do with women's rights and Negroes' rights? If my cup don't hold but a pint and yours hold a quart, would it be mean for you not to let me have my half measure full? And that dead man in black talk about women ain't got no rights because Christ weren't a woman. Well, where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man ain't had nothing to do with it. So if all these men in here can turn this world upside down, then all these women ought to be able to turn it right side up. And the men better let them. I really enjoyed that speech. During this time, the war was going very badly for the North. Yeah. It was on one of these days I was supposed to go and give a speech. Now, all week long it had rained. But on the day of my speech, the sun shone clear as day. After my speech, gentlemen come over and tell me that Mr. Lincoln wanted to see me. Well, I I got invited to the White House. So by the time I got there, Mr. Lincoln said that he was proud of my speech and he enjoyed what I was saying. He wanted me to have a look at his Emancipation Proclamations. Well, Lincoln was a plain man who talked plainly. So I told him plainly, it stank. Yeah. During this time, we got some bad news. Lincoln got shot. Ain't that something? Mood of the country went from celebration to grief. Black folks worried that they'd be put back into slavery. But in spite of it all, we managed to move forward. We became senators, governors, mayors, teachers. We had banks, and churches, and schools. At one time, we practically ran South Carolina. Yeah. Let's see, after Abraham Lincoln, I think the next president was, his name. Oh, Grant. Mm-hmm. Now, Grant wasn't too bad, actually. Black folk, they like Grant. After Grant there was, who that is? Oh, I know. Next president was Rutherford B. Hayes. Hayes was an evil man. A man who did everybody wrong. A man who couldn't understand or stand black folk. Y'all hold on. Got something to show y'all. Y'all see this here cloth? I snatched it off the devil himself. I received a letter from a couple whose lives I had saved during my sojourn. Seems like they was living in Canada. And they wanted to come back and move down south to build a church and a school. They even named it after me. They called it the Truth Mission. Asked me come down for the dedication. Well, never I've been so happy to travel for the honors of my people.
Oh, freedom over me.
What I get there?
And before
Tribulation.
I'll be a slave,
Turn to grief.
I'll be buried in my grave.
I was expecting to see a big, beautiful white church and school. Instead, all I saw was people burning wood.
And be free.
In the tree.
No more moaning. No
with the rope around it.
more moaning.
And in the rope,
No more
the body of the man whose life I had saved. Who done this? I shouted. Who done such a despicable deed as this? He was safe in Canada, but came back to die for the cause of his people. And Justin, a man on a white horse, rose through the flames. And he was dressed in white from head to toe. I could see as scared, intimidated most of the folks around him, all except one, the cutlass young boy. Could have been no more than 10 years old. Broke free from his mama, ran and mounted that old hooded beast, screaming, "You killed my daddy!" But that old hooded beast just kicked him in the face.
Buried in my grave,
And that was all I could take.
to my
And the anger rose up inside of me. And he got down off his horse. And he went to grab the whip. And he went to strike the child with the whip. And I stood in front of the child. And I said, "Don't you dare strike this child." And he said, "Well then, I'll strike you." And he grabbed his whip and ran back. And he hit him with the whip. And he went to strike me again. And I grabbed the whip with one hand. And with the other hand, I snatched it off of him. And as we were fighting, I was screaming, "Do you see? Do you see? He ain't no ghost. He ain't nothing but a man." And he could see I wasn't afraid of him. And he broke free. And he ran. Want my people here today to see this here cloth, to remind my people to stand up to your fears, and don't you ever submit to tyranny. At this point, never felt so low in my life. And one day I heard a knock at the door. There stood old Fred Douglas. He said he had heard I've been having some trouble in my life. So he took me to hear the Fisk Jubilee singers. Freedom for me. I am Sojourner Truth. I am not ugly. And I am not a man. And I sure in hell don't look like no ape. I am a proud, strong, beautiful black woman. I have faced any challenges you throw my way. So get thee behind me, Satan, for I will prevail, and you better respect me. Yes? Oh. All right. All right, I'm coming. No, I'm just a little tired. That's all, honey. That's all. Just a little tired. Oh. Oh, all right. All right. Yes, ma'am. I'm coming, honey. Yes, ma'am. Tell the people I'm coming. Yes, sir? Yes, ma'am. Child, I was born ready.